Welcome back to 90 Days to Fitness. You're with Danny Kaz. Today we're still doing a series on fat loss. Today the topic is going to be smaller, more frequent meals. Now I know you've heard this, and I know some people are like, well, I just can't do that. I like to eat a lot of food, blah, blah, blah. Well, I can't help you with that. The bottom line is that this is the reason I'm doing this video, is that smaller, more frequent meals work because they burn faster. You have to understand that your stomach is a furnace. When you drop food into your stomach, the more that you eat, perfect example, Thanksgiving dinner, you just plow down everything in sight and you are so full. Does that actually speed you up? Do you want to go running a marathon or do some sprints after that? No. You want to sit on the couch, watch some football, and pass out. It slows you down. So to reverse that, if it slows down your metabolic rate, obviously we shouldn't be eating large meals. We need to eat smaller, more frequent meals. How does this work? What is that all about? I want you to take a look at these three letters, G-E-T. Learned this a long time ago. This helped me tremendously when I was in college. Gastric emptying time. Gastric refers to your stomach. So like I said before, when you're eating your foods, and as soon as you chew it enough in your mouth, down the esophagus, into the stomach works in three different parts. It works with enzymes and it works with hydrochloric acid, okay? And a little bit of mucus. When your body and your stomach starts to churn that food and turn it into chyme, which is a liquid substance, it then has to be dumped in the small intestine. The time that it takes for the stomach to empty and go into the small intestine refers to gastric emptying time. It refers to your engine idle. It refers to your metabolic rate. Your metabolic rate can be influenced by the amount of the size of your meals and also the amount of your total caloric intake every single day, how little or how much. So when you take in food, your gastric emptying time, depending how efficient and how healthy your stomach is, if it really breaks down your food efficiently and quickly, as soon as it gets into the small intestine, that's when true absorption starts to take place, and then the food starts to change its chemistry again. Because from the small intestine, once it gets into the bloodstream, it's going to go to the liver to be processed, and then obviously it goes to the large intestine after that. But in the meantime, before it gets through all the small intestine to hit the large intestine, you got to understand that nutrients from your small intestine, which is 80% of your nutrient absorption, is going to go through the liver. The liver is going to process it like a conveyor belt, and it breaks up all the methyl groups and the carboxyl groups and the amino acids and the proteins and the minerals and all that. Start to get broken up even further, because then it's shunted into the blood, which can then be utilized by the body. And then also the liver, the pancreas, is also secreting insulin if you've taken in carbs. It's secreting glucagon if it's a low-carb meal or a zero-carb meal. It's also secreting alkalizing minerals and alkalizing enzymes, because the contents of the stomach, when the food came out, was very acidic. Now we're getting into too much digestive issues here, but that's the order that it happens. This takes a lot of organs. This takes a lot of energy. You don't want to take in too big of a meal because it's going to slow all this down. And when you slow all this down, you slow your flow. And when you slow your flow, you slow your metabolic rate. You're going to inhibit your fat loss capabilities. So smaller, more frequent meals has to do with basically the digestive process and how fast and efficient your body can break down the foods that you take in. Especially foods that you're not allergic to, so your body recognizes what it is, and foods that are electron loaded, you know, your spirulinas, your vitamin minerals, your fruits and vegetables, the colors of the rainbow, which I'm really, really big on. Your body has an easier time breaking those things down, and it speeds up your metabolism by just eating smaller, more frequent meals. Example, meal 1, meal 2, 3 meals a day and 2 snacks. If you're awake for 16 hours, here's hour number 1, here's 3 hours later, here's 3 hours later, here's 3 hours later, here's 3 hours later. So you're looking at 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, or 7, and you're done. Eating in a 12 to 14 hour period. And if these meals are small enough, none of this will really totally fill you up, but it keeps you going. And you'll know, and you'll feel this, and if you eat too much food and it slows you down, you know you've slowed your metabolic rate. You have to look at the size of your meal, and you have to look at exactly the protein, carbon, fat ratio of what you've been eating. And that is how you can increase your fat loss. This is so key. This is one of the #1 things you need to do to lose weight and basically just stay healthier overall. Your digestive system and how fast your metabolic rate is eat smaller, more frequent meals. Gastric emptying time is the key. This has to do with supplements as well. It's another video for another day. So thank you for listening to 90 Days to Fitness. You're with Dan Kaz. I'll talk to you soon. Remember, there are no shortcuts.